Okay, so your first step with your straps is to fold it in half and then sew down the one long side and one short side. You sew all the way down and turn the corner and sew the short side. Now before you turn this right side out, you want to trim the corner, and then depending on the thickness of your fabric, you may also want to trim the seam allowance smaller as well. This one's a fairly thick knit, so I'm going to trim it. Okay, so to turn it right side out, so the way that traditionally you might have been taught how to do it is to flip down the open edge and then gradually move it down further and further. The faster way is to actually take the closed end and kind of poke it in, and then take a long blunt object and just push it all the way through. So you're going to work it. Once you get going, it's pretty easy. Once you got the end out, you can just pull it. There you go, it's all turned. Now you just want to poke that corner out. Again, a long blunt object is best. And there you go. Your strap is ready for top stitching. When you place your straps on your back bib, you want to make sure that the strap is parallel to this short edge and that it's exactly centered between the two corners. So I basted that one down already. Now I'm going to place my other one right in the middle, and then I'm going to baste it onto the edge there. Basting is really important because if it just moves just a little bit while you're sewing it, then the strap will end up facing a different direction when you turn it. So it's very important that you make sure it stays exactly parallel to that edge. Okay, so after you baste the straps, you're gonna put the other side of the back bib on top, so you've got the strap sandwiched in between. And then you're going to sew, starting at one of the bottom corners, all the way up to the top corner on the side. Then you're going to leave your needle in your fabric and lift your presser foot and pivot, and sew then up to the top corner and pivot again, down to this corner and down to the bottom. It's important that whenever you're pivoting, that your needle is in the fabric, but it is not through the straps. It's got to be in that little space between the straps or just on the edge of the strap on the corners. Now, before you trim your seam allowances, you want to turn it right side out and make sure that your straps look right. Because if one of them got even just the tiniest little bit off, then one of them will be sticking way off to the side instead of down evenly like this. So make sure that it's correct before you trim your seam allowances, and then turn it right side out and top stitch. Alright, so your next step is to sandwich the back bib in between your waistband pieces. Now for mine here, I'm using the same fabric for both sides of the waistband. But if I was using lining for one of them, then I would want to make sure that the lining was facing the lining and the main was facing the main. So I've already marked the middle points of these, but to do that, you're just going to fold them in half and mark your middle point. Alright, so I'm going to put the back bib on top of my waistband. And then I'm going to put my other waistband piece face down, sandwiching it in between. And then clip it and sew. After you've sewn the waistbands together, then you're going to flip them down and top stitch them, as I've already done here. And your next step is going to be to insert the elastic. Now, if you are doing the no placket version, it's pretty simple. You just stick the elastic in, so one edge is just below where the bib meets the waistband, right here. You sew a vertical line, and then you're just going to kind of push the fabric down until the elastic is 1/2 inch from the end of the waistband, and so another vertical line. So your fabric will be all bunched up. And then you're going to pull it and sew a line down the middle to help it gather evenly. And you're going to do that on both sides. And then you're going to baste along the bottom of the waistband just to close it up. So here's the front bibs for the no placket version. So as you can see, I've left the bottom 2 inches open. I've sewn up the side, across the top, and then down the other side. After turning your front bib right side out, you're going to press it, and this 2-inch gap that you left when you were sewing needs to be pressed as well, so that the folded over part is the correct seam allowance, 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. And then what you're going to do is take your back and lay it down with the lining side up. Put your front down with the lining side down. Then you're just going to slip the end of the waistband inside so that at the top part it is in just to the edge of the seam allowance. Make sure that the bottom edges are aligned. And then you can pin or clip it shut. Another option would be to use Wonder Tape. That will help it stay in place nicely. Then you're just going to do the same on the other side. So you've got your waistband over here, wrap it around and do the same on the other side. And then you're going to top stitch from the bottom corner up and around and back down to the other corner. After you've done this, then your top bibs are fully complete and ready to add the skirt. So you can see that that is now top stitched in place. And what I've done is to fold it in half and mark the middle point of the front bib and the back bib, which you will need when you put the skirt on. Now I'm actually doing a mash-up with a pair of pants right now, but it works exactly the same way. You're going to do the side seams of your skirts, and then if you're gathering the top, then you would need to gather it to match the width of the bib and the waistband. But because I'm doing pants, I'm just going to put it upside down, put it inside the pants, making sure front is to front and back is to back. And you would do this exactly the same way with a skirt. Find the middle point of the front and match them up. And find the middle point of the back and match them up. And then your sides, and you are ready to sew.